Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. Last night was a huge game for Chelsea. 2-0 at home to Atletico Madrid. Kwaku called it. He said they were going to win 2-0. What did you think about the game, Quakes?
It was more comfortable than I was expecting. Atletico really didn't show anything, but that's partly down to the fact that we squeezed the life out of them. And that's what we've been doing since Tuchel's come in. It's all been about game management. We didn't give him a sniff, really, like apart from maybe in the last few minutes when João Felix had a chance and Mendy comfortably saved it and tipped it over the bar. But we looked dominant from start to finish. I do think that Azpilicueta got away with one. It would have been soft, but if that went against Chelsea, I would have been moaning. It should have been a penalty and probably should have been a red card. But alas, we move. And it was just a great game overall, man. It was good to see the new signings in Hakim Ziyech and Kai Havertz. And Timo Werner link up for the first goal. And it was good to see Hakim Ziyech put in the back of the net. He definitely needed that for his confidence. He's a confidence player. And yeah, man, it was just a great game overall. I feel like, I'm not saying that we bring on anybody in the next round, but apart from maybe Bayern Munich and Man City, I don't really fear anybody in the competition. And I think that just tells you where the Premier League's at the moment. We're challenging for a top 4 place, but I'll be confident about going up against almost anybody in Europe. So yeah, I'm really happy overall. I watched it at work. There was a lot of Chelsea fans in at work, and the sense of like nerves before the game because it was our first big game in a while in the Champions League. But we saw it through comfortably. Tony Rudiger, big shout out to him for the dark arts, managing to get Savic sent off, which is a hark back to Chelsea centre backs that we love in terms of Carvalho or Terry's, those players that know how to work the referee and work the game. And yeah, it was a great game overall. I don't know what you thought about it, Lou.
I mean, obviously very happy. Like you say, I wasn't expecting it to be that. To be honest, the whole Tuchel process, it's been so comfortable, very comfortable on the ball, very comfortable playing from out the back. Obviously, he's come in with his back three, knowing that structure and comfortability and sorting out the defense is, going to be key in order to push forward. But it's crazy how comfortable we've looked. Mendy, I think, a lot of fans would be lying if they said that they didn't expect him to be a stopgap. How many clean sheets is that now? Pushing 20? Like, unbelievable. Made a couple of good saves as well, as he continues to do. I was expecting, I was waiting for blockbuster moments from him in order to really, put him on that sort of, that level of top keepers, because he's come from Rennes. It's a big step up. Seemingly he's made it. There's a lot to be said for how solid and structured we are. Shouts out to Kurt coming in sort of late notice. Is brilliant, always dominant in the air. Marcos Alonso really suited the pace of the game. He had a great game. He's been great under Tuchel. Love to see our boy Reece James getting a start and providing. I suppose he provided a little more physicality and confidence for Hakim Ziyech in order to work, because Hakim Ziyech, wow, what a great game. Obviously the goal, fantastic. Him sort of bringing that intensity. I think Tuchel mentioned after the game that they wanted that intensity that Mason Mount would bring via him. And he really was that. Won the ball in high areas really well, knocked off a couple of little safe passes, but he's got the invention to make those passes when he's in tricky situations. And we all love to see the goal. Kai Havertz, like you saw Diego Simeone lose his mind when Kai Havertz took those 3 touches. It's the turn of pace for me. I mean, he's a tall boy, and as I've called him quite regularly, along with Tammy, a lanky streak of piss. But, when he develops that physicality and starts to understand, the rigors of the Prem, and I think he's doing that at the moment, he's going to be a player. Like, the touch is there, the turn of pace is there, the intelligence. And, all 3 of them linking up, hopefully there's a lot more to come. Shouts out to Timo Werner, not hitting the levels that he was at RB Leipzig with 36 goals and 14 assists. But Chelsea's top contributor in terms of goal involvements this season. Obviously, we're not as fluid as we should be, but it's going to come. And I'm looking forward to it coming. So, yeah, like you say, it's not a case of next round, bring anyone on. We want to avoid the big boys, but I'm confident, Yeah. Champions League is always open. There could be a run there.
So you're rightfully so. Both of you are buzzing after the game. Is this, well, looking at the game, apart from Chelsea performing so well and being so defensively astute and solid all over the pitch, Atletico didn't really offer much. And I think last night was the 25th game in a row where Luis Suarez hasn't actually scored away from home in a Champions League game, which is a very telling stat, bearing in mind when you look at the amount of goals that he's secured for them in La Liga. Obviously, you can say that might be testament to the standard of the league at the moment. But just drawing back on Kwaku's point a moment ago and just saying how confident you are, Louis, Kwaku said that you only really fear Bayern Munich and Man City. Do you think that if you was to draw PSG, for example, someone who I would put up there with the favourites, would you be confident against them because there's Tuchel link, or did you just forget to say
him? In terms of that, it looks like Louis sleeping on my screen, so I'll take this one. In terms of now you're back, but in terms of that link, I obviously PSG are a very good team. They've got very good players, but I don't
soft.
I don't necessarily fear them. I fear Bayern Munich because they turned us over last season, and we've seen what Man City have done this season. They've just got an abundance of talent. But I'm pretty confident, man. We don't really look like giving teams a sniff. We don't really look like conceding goals, and you can't really be fearful going into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You're always going to come up against good teams. Maybe Porto, you'd say you'd take, and Real Madrid haven't been that great either. I'll take a tie against Real Madrid because Chelsea haven't.
I'd love a tie against Real Madrid.
Yeah, obviously Eden Hazard will be missing for that as well. So yeah, I don't really fear teams, man. You get to quarterfinals of the Champions League, and you can't really be going in there with fear. You've got to just be confident and back yourselves.
Their famous last words they are. I think someone should clip this up and then play it to Kylian Mbappe if you're not fearing PSG right now. But yeah,
Kylian is the one.
Yeah, I think with Real Madrid, they're an intriguing one because they're obviously off their usual standards this year, but they're still in the competition. You know, they've pulled out a great win against Atalanta where it was a 3-1 win, and they're in this stage of the competition. And there's one thing that Real Madrid are synonymous with, and it's going late into competitions. I know obviously they lost to Man City last year, but I don't by any means think there'll be an easy tie for anyone. Just going back to the Chelsea game, as I said, you guys looked really defensively solid and astute all over the pitch. Is this an insight into your strongest 11? Do you think you'll be seeing this 11 like more frequently in the Premier League? What do you think, Louis?
I do think it's really dependent on the tie. I want the tie who we're playing. Reece James, right wing back, obviously provided that solidity for Hakim Ziyech to go effectively be Hakim Ziyech. But he, as I said earlier, Hakim was very intense in the press and he won a lot of high balls, and the link up between them was good. I think Reece just provided that physicality and in order to get back and drop in. But so I think that's a toss up. Him and Callum Hudson-Odoi. There's a lot to be said for, let's say we're playing Burnley. Reece James is not starting the right wing back. We're gonna go at them. Also on the other side, Alonso, brilliant game. I think his pace is slightly more suited to the Champions League and your slower games, your slower competitions, where you've probably got a little bit more of the ball and a little bit more space to run into. Ben Chilwell very much suits the rigours of the Premier League because he's nippy. And obviously, Big Kurt, great game, came in really well. I think he sort of only knew he was starting the morning of. He's just not as talented on the ball as Christensen, and obviously Thiago Silva is Thiago Silva, speaks for himself. So, but bar that, missing Mason Mount. Mason Mount's always going to start for Chelsea. But I think there's a lot to be said for, I think everyone's talking about our squad. Our squad is so good. We have to be going deep into the Premier League in the top 4.
If players perform, I'd agree that your squad is very strong, very, very strong. Arguably the second best in the Premier League.
Yeah, for sure.
But
it's just about form.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, thus far in the season, multiple players in your squad haven't performed to the levels that you would have expected. Timo Werner and Havertz being some for examples. Obviously, they're new to the Premier League. I know there's a transition period, but usually the transition period for German players isn't the longest. So It's like you say, the key, like we've always been saying, really, that the key to Chelsea starting to perform in the league is, converting some of the chances that they're doing and being more, clinical in attack. And it seemed like last night, although they did miss a few chances, it seemed like things were ticking a little bit more. I don't know what you think about that, Quakes.
I kind of want to chart back to something that Louis said in terms of the Reece James, Hakim Ziyech axis. We've seen that work under Lampard. We saw that work when we played the back four. The way they play really complements each other because Hakim Ziyech likes to cross from deep and Reece James likes to hit the byline. So on that right-hand side, it creates so much space. So even if it's a back three or back four, I feel like those two, we watch out for that. I think we've got a glimpse into the future. And if Hakim Ziyech is to be a success at Chelsea, I feel like it'll be Reece James behind him as a right back or a right wing back. And yeah, in terms of the starting lineup, it's great because maybe football's changing. Maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, you could name like everybody's starting lineup. If you ask Man City fans what the best starting lineup is, it differs. It's very, very fluid. And so I feel like having a big squad definitely helps that. It's different horses for different courses. So if you're playing a Champions League game, like Louis alluded to, Marcus Alonso might be better suited to playing the left wing back. But in the Premier League, of the rigors and kind of like the pace of it, Ben Chilwell is absolutely perfect for that. So I don't really feel like establishing what our best 11 is that imperative if we keep on winning. And I feel like loads of players can slot into different positions. I just feel like the only issue needs to be addressed at Chelsea is our goal scoring issue.
It's a valid point. And just really to round up the video, I've got a couple of one-answer questions that I want you guys to answer. So Louis, starting this dream tie in the next round. Who's your dream tie?
I think it's Madrid. Or to be honest, I say that. Me and my little brother were having a conversation yesterday. Little bro, big Chelsea fan. It's gonna happen. It's Liverpool.
Liverpool. Okay.
We're due it. Like they love to do it. I can imagine us pulling Liverpool in a tie.
And how about you, Quakes?
Dream tie. Porto.
Okay. And can you win the Champions League, Quakes? Yes or no?
100%.
One word.
100%. It's 2 words.
Right.
100%.
It's 2 words. Yeah. Okay. Louis, can you win the Champions League?
Yeah, we can.
Ooh, 3 words. But okay. Cheers, guys.
All right. No. Let me flip on to you. Can Chelsea win the Champions League, Jamie? 1 word.
Yes.
Just to put in, as I love to throw in a somber note at the end of the pod. Well, I know this breaks my heart to say, but I think it does need to be said. Chelsea have looked absolutely fantastic since Tuchel came in. Like, so stable, so solid. The club made the move at the right time. It hurts me. Yeah. There must have been something going on. Seemingly the beginning of a rot. Bless him, with our boy Frank. But I think similarly to Steven Gerrard at the moment, doing the thing at Rangers.
So pathetic. Jamie's so petty when it comes to it. Big up Frank Lampard. You set the kind of wheels in motion for what we've got now. We wouldn't have Mason Mount in the team now.
Exactly. He did that.
So that's his legacy at Chelsea. And obviously we were very hurt at the time, but it was the right decision from the club. And there's a reason why Chelsea don't go more than a season without winning trophies, because the club make decisions at the right time.
Yeah, and we do that.
Very, very relentless board. Roman Abramovich has a blueprint for success, and it's got Chelsea countless trophies that you guys get to remember and enjoy. So yeah. Anyway, to round up the video, where can they find us, Quakes?
Okay, let me not fuck this up this time. So you can find us on Instagram at We Talk Football Podcast. On Twitter, it's at WTF Podcast 90. We're on Facebook, we're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify. You know where to find us. Make sure you like this video and make sure you subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more videos soon.
Sick. And subscribe to Louis' OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Top 2%.